Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a tough week. This week I had planned to make a couple of videos for you. Firstly, obviously, something out of this world, continuing the official alien disclosure series, and also another series of videos I wish to introduce concerning one of my favourite activities out here in the bush. I even ordered a new piece of equipment specifically for this. And then fate decided to step in. Firstly, the weather changed. We're around 0, 1 degree. We get sleet continuously, rain. Everything's turned to mud. This week we're expecting about -13, and hopefully we'll get snow first so it freezes for Christmas. But the way things are looking, we might just get frozen mud for Christmas, which is never enjoyable. Because of the change in weather, the animals have moved further away from the property. Now, one of the reasons I invested in the new piece of equipment, a trail camera, was my 2 old ones died, and I'll explain why in a later video. But we've been getting some unusual animal activity around the house. Potentially species which we've never had before, and which may cause a problem or even a danger to myself, my dog, or whoever comes out at night to get wood from the wood pile. They shouldn't be in the garden, and I just want to make sure what they are and why they're here. I think I know why they're here. It's all the fallen apples and very strange freezing temperatures and snow and ice early on before winter. It's brought them from the forest closest to the house, and now they've gone back again. But with this upcoming deep freeze this week, potentially they'll return. I had hoped to get a video out already, but there's apart from our resident manky fox, there's a dearth of wildlife at the moment, apart from birds. The next major issue I've had to deal with this week is something you get from having a house in the country: blocked drains. Now, this happens quite regularly. Now, living out here, you have to rely on yourself. You can't just phone a company and say, come fix it. Instead, you have to invest in what's called a mole, kartko, and get down and do the dirty yourself. Unfortunately, it's taken probably 3 days of hard graft because it just wasn't clearing. The water we get here, the spring, is probably about 200 meters up the hill. That's how close we are to the source of the water. It's state water, but it's from a village spring. And this water is really hard, like ridiculously hard. We actually use a tea strainer when we pour boiling water to collect the calcium deposits. Add this to your normal grey water and fats, maybe some coffee grinds, and it turns into a concrete inside the pipes. This morning, my eldest boy, Branio, he actually managed to clear most of the blockage. So it is a massive relief. We're going into Christmas, all the kids will be home, and you know, we had water not moving for quite a period. Like I say in the video title, you know, this is reality. This is what you get for living in the bush. Anyway, yesterday, Saturday, I'd spent all morning trying to hacksaw a piece of spring steel which just kept moving, and it was very, very frustrating. Eventually I managed, as part of another mole, and I'd spent all morning plunging and trying to ram this spring, this 10-metre long spring, into the drains, and I decided to have a break. I was just, you know, fed up. I haven't ridden Scarlet, my BMW motorbike, for over a month, and I just desperately wanted to get out, get onto the main road and open up the throttle and, you know, feel that adrenaline, be one with the bike. Now, because we've had freezing temperatures, I am aware that the tyres go hard, rubber hardens, which means it has far less grip when in contact with basically a frozen road. Remember that the temperature is hovering around 0 or 1 degree. The road is also very slimy at the moment because of all the leaf mulch which has suddenly re-emerged after the freeze. You've got crushed apples, you've got mud from the tractors which are passing around. It's not an ideal road surface to be riding on, especially with frozen rubber tyres. Before I left the garage, I checked obviously the chain, and I checked my tyre pressure, something I always do. It's a lot different on a motorbike to a car. I went out, started riding down the road, and I thought I'd be out for a few hours. It was really cold, but I was all wrapped up. And there's a certain point when you haven't ridden for a while where you're a little bit nervous to start with, and then it clicks and it's like you're one with the bike. You can lean, you can, you know, go with the flow. The bike does what you want. Where you look, the bike goes. And I wasn't feeling this at all. I'll admit I was nervous because of the road conditions and I didn't know about the tyres. But it was juddery. It almost felt like the front wheel was loose. And between here and the main road is about 4 to 5 kilometres of bush road. There's no lights, there's no civilization whatsoever, just wild animals basically, forests and fields. And once you get beyond that bit, you've got a single lane each way main road, but you can open up long straight patches and you can enjoy yourself. But I wasn't feeling it at all. It felt like there was something really wrong. Anyway, I made it to a town, which is about 15 kilometres away, about 11 miles. And I pulled into a gas station and I looked at my tyres, and my rear tyre was completely flat. Shit. I pumped it up. I put 2.1 bar of pressure in it. This is Saturday afternoon in eastern Slovakia. There are no tyre repair stations open, there's no mechanics, there's nothing. I had about 45 minutes to an hour maximum before it went dark. And there was sleet coming down, the occasional flurry of snow, but not heavy. I was really cold. Parts of my anatomy were, you know, they'd gone on holiday. It was that cold. And I've got a puncture It was like, anything else this week? So I made the decision to fill up the tyre and just try and get home. And I could tell you that before I left, I really felt like I needed some adrenaline. I needed a bit of an adventure, just to clear my head, you know, get out a bit. I didn't expect that sort of adrenaline or that sort of adventure, because when you're riding 15 kilometres on a motorbike through the bush and you know you've got a puncture in your rear tyre and you're basically waiting for the air pressure to leave until you're riding on rims, it gets your blood pumping. It really does. I love riding motorbikes because it's a very zen feeling. You know, you become one with your environment and one with the bike, and you just think about that. Well, I guarantee yesterday that was a zen feeling. I had one thought, two thoughts, the entire way home. One, I want to go home. I just desperately want to get the bike home. And secondly, the puncture. That's all that was in my head. I had planned to, you know, go for a long ride, video different places, and you just want to go home. Thankfully, I did. It was not a pleasant ride. You know, I'm on a main road and I'm actually waving sort of like little cars because I couldn't risk going fast. Very strange occurrence. Where I think I got the puncture is actually our garden. Since we've made the gate, since we did it this year, we're getting a lot of old hand-forged nails and bits of metal emerging from the soil. And it doesn't matter, even bits of old broken glass, like from really, really old bottles. It doesn't matter how many times I pick things up, because we're on a hill, the land moves. And these things emerge. Because we're getting all this rain and we're getting all this like slush and the ground is becoming muddy, these things are appearing continuously. I mean, everything from like a little piece of glass to bizarre metal things which I presume were used to hold beams together. And obviously I didn't check the ground well enough when I was coming out of the garden, and I've ridden over something, because before I left I checked the tyres and they were fine. Anyway, this all sounds like excuses why I haven't been making fun-packed videos, but it's called real life. Sometimes it goes, oi, pay attention, and you have to do that. Hopefully this can go back into storage for at least a month, because it's not a fun job, trust me on that one. But it's all part of being self-reliant, and it's also part of rural living. Who are you going to call? Asked the Ghostbusters, and the answer is no one. You do it. For now, and as always, be free.